Okay, so today we are looking at the second breakfast from the examples you shared with me in the community tab. I asked you to tell me what you usually eat for breakfast because I wanted to use real meals to create more practical examples for my videos. I do not know whether Aleena is dealing with breakouts or other skin concerns. I am simply using this breakfast as a real-life example because it makes it much easier to show how sodium, potassium, sugar and the way foods are prepared may matter for the skin, while also explaining what I personally might change. The values are estimates, so they will not be exact, but they can still give us a useful general picture. The second breakfast was shared by Aleena Rose Tom. Aleena wrote that around 7 in the morning they usually have a South Indian breakfast consisting of dosa or appam, with chutney, 1 egg and a cup of coffee with milk. For the original breakfast, I estimated 350 to 700 milligrams of sodium, around 350 to 600 milligrams of potassium, and about 6 to 15 grams of total sugars. Now this breakfast is somewhat difficult to estimate because the sodium can vary a lot depending on how the butter and the chutney were prepared. If everything was made fresh and only a small amount of salt was used, the sodium could remain relatively moderate. But if more salt was added, the breakfast could contain as much sodium as potassium, or possibly even more. The amount of chutney also matters. A small serving may not contribute very much sodium, while a larger or heavily salted serving could change the balance a lot. Packaged butter or ready-made chutney can also contain more sodium and other additions than versions made fresh from basic ingredients. The sugar is not the main thing that stands out to me here. Some of it would naturally come from the milk in the coffee, and appam may also contain some sugar depending on the recipe. If nothing was sweetened, however, the total amount of sugar appears relatively moderate. So my main concern would be the uncertainty around the sodium, because the amount could change substantially depending on the preparation. So personally, I would make one clear change to this breakfast. Rather than eating the dosa or appam, I would replace the rice-based part of the meal with one whole sweet potato. So I would simply steam or boil it whole and eat it like that, without adding salt, oil, seasoning or any other toppings, because a sweet potato is already a complete whole food. It does not need to be turned into a butter or combined with another mixture in order to become a proper meal. And that is a huge advantage. Then I would also probably leave out the chutney because it creates another opportunity for salt, oil, sugar and other additions to enter the meal. Also, the egg could still be eaten separately if it was generally wanted. And then I would also leave out the coffee with milk, because I do not think the body needs the additional stimulation of caffeine. So I would rather drink water or choose a caffeine-free tea instead. So my simpler version would be 1 whole steamed or boiled sweet potato, 1 egg eaten separately, and either water or a caffeine-free tea. And for this version, I estimated 80 to 110 milligrams of sodium, around 550 to 650 milligrams of potassium, and about 5 to 8 grams of total sugars. So compared with the original breakfast, the sodium would become much more predictable. The potassium would also be considerably higher than the sodium, while the sugar would remain fairly moderate. This would make the meal simpler and improve the sodium to potassium balance. Aleena, I hope this gave you a helpful way to look at your breakfast and showed you how a few simple changes could improve the overall balance. Thank you again for sharing your breakfast with me and allowing me to use it as an example. And thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!